Hi guys, and welcome to a new video. In this video it's quite special because I want to show you a piece of real estate that I'm currently looking at here in Spain, and things might be actually quite interesting in the near future once I seal the deal. Let me show you the weather right now. Currently we're in October, 5th of October, 5th of October, yeah, 5th of October, and it's quite sunny and beautiful over here in Spain. The thing is, I found an apartment in Spain, in Valencia, for around 80k euros. The thing is, once you find something decent, sub 100k, you have to be careful and you have to be aware of what you're doing, and you need to find an attorney just to finalize all the paperwork and make sure that this property is actually legally built. Because there is a very important aspect here in this whole scenario, because in Spain, Italy, Portugal, Cyprus, Malta, fortunately, there's a bit of corruption, or there was a bit of corruption, and during some periods, there were some illegal buildings popping up. And until today, they're not knocked down, but it's illegal for you to own them. So I don't know what's the situation, but you have to make sure that all the paperwork are just fulfilled, all the requirements are fulfilled, all the paperwork is in place, and things are checked. So once you get into the deal of buying any property in these countries, Italy, Spain, Portugal, Malta, and Cyprus, you have to be very, very, very careful not to be scammed. Not scammed in terms of, they won't let you have the apartment or the flat. No, it's just being in full compliance with the local regulations. And also be aware of the tax trap over here. If you become a tax resident in any of these countries, you would most likely have to pay tax on any foreign asset. So you need to understand that before you buy anything. However, the beauty about buying in Spain or Italy or any sunny place in Europe at least, that you can rent it out in summer, and that's the plan. Renting out places in summer, this will get you probably between 2 and 3k per month easily, because during the peak season or high season or summer season, many tourists from all over the place come here and enjoy the sea, enjoy the sun, enjoy the decent weather, good food, good people. So it's quite lucrative in terms of if you look at it from a long-term investment perspective. However, you have to be very careful upfront, and you need to put some money and effort to make sure that everything in place. The apartment I found here is in a good, decent condition. It might need some renovation, probably an additional 10 or 15k or so, and then it can be put in Airbnb or through a real estate agency or whatever. They can rent it out during winter months to students or to normal families. Depends on the concept. Of course, here also you can split it in rooms, and you can rent it out to as a separate room for students, for instance. They can live together, they can have fun together, and just it's a co-living space. Or you can just rent it out as a whole apartment for a big family, for instance, family of 3 or 4, so they can live comfortably there. However, in the summer month, this can be put on Airbnb for tourists. So there's a little bit of a hiccup here because Spain is trying to crack down on excessive tourism. So you also need to be aware of that aspect when you're buying in big cities, especially Barcelona. Barcelona has some good deals. Of course, way higher than Valencia, way higher than Malaga, way higher than some places in Spain, but Barcelona is a big city, it's a massive city. And you would need to understand that they're trying to crack down on this kind of Airbnb touristy concept, because many people are making a lot of money, many locals are making a lot of money while kicking people who are living there already out just because of greed, and they want to make money out of thin air, and that's it. There's nothing wrong with making money, but there has to be some morals behind what you're doing. If you're going to sign a contract for someone to rent it out for 1 or 2 years, then you have to respect your word. You don't need necessarily to kick them out in summer just to make few $1,000 more. So the government has some regulations, and you need to be aware of that. It's just this video is raising awareness for some key points before you buy or invest in real estate in these countries: Spain, Italy, Portugal, Malta, and Cyprus. You need to make sure that the property is legally on the ground, meaning that you can legally own this building. It's not really illegally built back in the days. And you need to make sure that all the paperwork are checked in place, and you can actually have it without any hiccups in the future. Second of all, you need to make sure of the tax implications if you own in a certain place. If you're a European citizen, then probably things can be relatively easy and straightforward. If you're American, Canadian, if you're from North America, probably you will need to investigate more. I do believe, or I've heard at least, that Canadians are not really allowed to buy in Italy. I'm not sure about that. So I will double check and probably I will make a video about that. But if you're a Canadian, you need to make sure that you can actually legally allowed to own in Italy. In Spain, however, things are quite normal. It's just easy. You can legally do that, as far as I understand, and as far as I met some Canadians here, and these Canadians, they are just buying properties here and just doing normal business, so there's no hiccup there. But in Italy, there is some problem with Canadians buying properties in Italy. In order for you to obtain the right to rent out an apartment, of course, you have to legally own it, and then you can rent it out, and then you have to fill in all the tax forms and stuff, because that's going to be an additional income. Of course, if you want to buy it as a cash investment, that's gonna take a shortcut. However, if you can finance this apartment, if you can put a small deposit, let's say 100K apartment, you can put like 10% or 20% deposit, and then finance the remaining 80% or the remaining 80,000. These kind of regulations might differ depending on where you're from or what nationality you are. If you're North American, then probably it's going to be a little bit of a different route, rather than being European, rather than being from Australia, Asia, whatever. There are some regulations, and the bank or the financial institution needs to make sure that you can actually sustain your payments over a longer period. It has its pros and cons, but I do believe that putting all your money up front or buying it cash payment, it's not necessarily the smartest move. Sometimes it's comfortable, sometimes it's a bargain and you have just to seal the deal immediately, but depends on the situation. You have to educate yourself more about that. But generally speaking, buying property and renting it out, that's a very stable form of investment. And of course, after the crypto hiccups we're experiencing right now, it raises the awareness of the importance of diversifying your investments. You have to diversify, you have to take different risks than crypto. You have to put it some in stocks, some in crypto, some in real estate, some in collectibles, some in vintage items, I don't know, like cars, watches, whatever. You have to diversify as much as you can, and then also you have to follow your passion. You have to invest in yourself, invest in some projects you're interested in. However, real estate, that's the most stable form of investment, and it can create some positive cash flow for you on the longer run and even on the shorter run. So it's a win-win-win-win situation. That's my humble opinion, of course. By all means, I'm not a financial advisor. You should always do your own due diligence, and I will be updating you on the apartment I found here. If you've been following me for a while, you know that during the past few months, I was in London trying to seal a deal on real estate over there collectively with some friends, because it's astronomically expensive in London. It didn't go through because London nowadays, it's a post-Brexit. They have different regulations, and they need different tax system for buying to let. That's how they call it. So it's a different scenario over there. So that's why we discarded this idea. However, still negotiations are ongoing, and probably I will be there in maybe a few days / weeks or so, trying to reinitiate that project. So I'll be updating you. Thank you all for your attention, and let me know in the comments below if you're invested in real estate, if you find that a lucrative business or a good idea to diversify or to go heavy on real estate. Bye bye.